Let's see, Frodo and Sam meet Smeagol. We witness the amazing battle for Helm's Deep, and the struggle for the Ring of Power continues in the second segment of the famous series. Hello to everyone and welcome once again to my favorite website, RealScreenReviews.com, and also to the YouTube channel We Live Film. I am film critic Iacobucci, and our next movie review is for The Lord of the Rings, The Two Towers. This Middle-earth adventure opened in worldwide release almost a decade ago on December 18, 2002, and it stars Elijah Wood, Viggo Mortensen, and Sir Ian McKellen. Joining them and new to the series this time are Miranda Otto, Bernard Hill, Carl Urban, David Wenham, and the amazing Andy Serkis as Gollum. The Two Towers comes to us from director Peter Jackson that will revisit Middle-earth for 3 straight Christmases once again, and that will begin with December's The Hobbit, An Unexpected Journey. This tale continues the story of the struggle to destroy the One Ring of Power into the fires of Mount Doom. This tale gives little to almost no recap and assumes that you have seen its predecessor, the Fellowship of the Ring. The Fellowship is now broken and both Frodo and Sam struggle to Mordor on their own, and that is until they meet a guide in the form of the slimy and very untrustworthy Gollum. The other 2 hobbits, known as Merry and Pippin, have been captured by orcs, rescued by Ents, and Aragorn, Legolas, and Gimli struggle to defend all forms of life with King Theoden. While this second chapter plays out, it will all come to a boil in the epic battle to defend Helm's Deep. Well, people, The Two Towers is many aspects of storytelling all wrapped into one singular film. This feature has many parts of compassion, many parts of redemption, and even resurrection. As Sam and Frodo travel and meet the creature of Gollum, it seems Frodo cannot help but feel very sympathetic toward the once human being. His sense of compassion lets us once again easily identify with his character of Frodo, and once again Elijah Wood anchors himself as the film's central point. Then King Theoden, who was trapped under a spell, redeems himself after being released from his curse and reclaims his stout and stature among his people. He fights with bravado while attempting to lead his people to the safety of Helm's Deep. Finally, the aspect of resurrection comes when Gandalf the Grey returns from the depths, having fought off the evil Balrog. He is miraculously transformed into Gandalf the White, and with his new birth comes a greater sense of power, intelligence, courage, and fortitude. Now, where the Fellowship is told and laid out in a very clear narrative, The Two Towers infuses many battles and much action into the story. There are many dramatic adventure segments along the way, but it all leads up to the amazing and impressive battle for Helm's Deep. This is, without question, one of the greatest spectacles ever committed to film and dwarfs any other segment in the feature. It took 14 weeks of nighttime shooting to film this epic take on war, and it doesn't shortchange for one instant. It is a glorious tribute to the memory of J.R.R. Tolkien, the actors that brought it to life, and most importantly, the director that put it all together. Now, in addition to the returning favorite characters, there have been some notable additions that have been definitely improved on the story. Brad Dourif has come on board as the slimy Wormtongue and helps to enslave King Theoden. This guy is simply creepy and scary, and he adds dimension to what could have easily been a throwaway standard sidekick. Also, the new Judge Dredd, Carl Urban, got a big break in his acting career as the noble Éomer, who shines as one of the leaders of Middle-earth. I just love Carl Urban. I've said that many times. I think the guy's just great. Then David Wenham brings much to the big screen as Faramir, the brother of Sean Bean's Boromir from the Fellowship of the Ring. Faramir displays strength and courage when gracing the silver screen and shows nobility throughout the story. Where Boromir was almost immediately corrupted by the Ring of Power upon sight, instead Faramir shines in the face of temptation. Also, Miranda Otto brings the hint of romance to the story as Éowyn, or the niece of King Theoden. She plays for the affections of Aragorn and gives the story a nice balance of beauty and elegance amongst the swords, sorcery, and violence. This takes me to the film's best addition in the computer-generated Gollum. Now, only briefly seen in the first feature, Gollum is made a full-fledged main player in The Two Towers. Smeagol is brought vividly to life by the great physical actor Andy Serkis, who has gone on to create other CGI characters the likes of King Kong and Caesar from Rise of the Planet of the Apes. This man is an amazingly talented actor whose movements were captured in a sensory-laden bodysuit and then later replaced with a CGI creature. However, However, the audience, as well as Frodo, share a mix of agony and sympathy toward the character of Gollum, and that's because of the humanity brought to him by Circus. Smeagol is a mere shadow of the creature that once was human, and now is nothing more than a tormented soul forever searching for his precious. His struggle with his dual personality is quite memorable, and just like Yoda, is an actual non-human performer portrayed with complete dramatic seriousness, and in my opinion, is nothing short of remarkable. Now, what I feel to be a great standout character is the land of New Zealand, which, by the way, is also home to epic director Peter Jackson. Every outside moment and shot seems to complement the written word of Tolkien. The hills and valleys, the brooks and streams, rock formations, and even patches of green grass seem to all have been strategically picked to match certain aspects of the book, and all done to absolute perfection. And speaking of locations, people may have forgotten that the Two Towers opened a mere 15 months after the fall of two towers that were located in New York City. 10 years ago, that title alone could have hit home on many levels for many moviegoers, but considering the subject matter of the book and film, I'm so glad that Peter Jackson held fast and didn't change any title in any way. The main story of crushing the spread of evil is a testament to any war and conflict, and that's going all the way back to World War I or World War II, where inspiration was most definitely taken. It has been a while since I read the books, but if I remember correctly, it tells a huge portion of Frodo and Sam, and then does the same for Legolas, Aragorn, and Gimli. Now, it's not that I do not enjoy 2 or even 3 narratives intertwined into one linear tale, and I'm not saying that it's not good, but I do think that it was actually done better in, say, Return of the Jedi. I did have an issue here and there with how and when they chose to cut to another story, and sometimes I was a little bit annoyed when they picked to do so. The editing and continuous smooth storytelling was hindered in the film because every time I was truly getting engrossed into a certain part of the story, it was clipped to another narrative. They could have cut less and let the audience revel in the story being told a little bit more. That's just my humble opinion, of course. Then the scenes with Merry and Pippin, no matter how necessary to the story, really didn't need to be explored to the extent that they were. I love the characters of Meriadoc Brandybuck and Peregrine Took, but still I really felt that they not only confined the other 2 tales being told, but they also slowed the pace of the film altogether. This is a film with no beginning and no end, so unless you're going to pull an Empire Strikes Back and fully dive into characterization and plot development, you have to keep the film moving. The Two Towers also does not work as a standalone feature as the Harry Potter films do, and you need to have seen The Fellowship of the Ring before you begin to enjoy this second installment. At 3 hours, The Lord of the Rings, The Two Towers, does basically have something for everyone. It contains rousing action sequences and epic battles. It has romantic scenes for the ladies and humor for younger audiences, and this is all surrounded by top-notch special effects, solid villains, and an engrossing treachery of story. All of these film characteristics are combined with solid work in front of the camera, and once again the music, the sets, the costumes, and the art direction are all stand out. This is one of those films that you could sit and enjoy on a rainy day, or you could cut short your day at the beach to come home and watch this feature and feel like you hadn't missed anything out at all. Nick's Real Screen Review is a perfect 4 stars out of 4, and that's for the second installment of Peter Jackson's The Lord of the Rings trilogy entitled The Two Towers. Well, that's all I have for this film, but please look for my review of The Return of the King soon enough. If you have enjoyed this review, please click like and give a thumbs up, or subscribe to We Live Film or Real Screen Reviews if you haven't yet already. I'm sure that I will be returning soon enough with more movie and trailer reviews, and until then, remember people, I'm not always right, but only when it comes to the movies, and thank you for your attention.